I hope that's working. I don't even have my Google pulled up to like verify that this is working. I'm also tired. Oh, perfect. It's up. Fantastic. Uh, hold please. Okay, so what were we doing last night? So we played a bit of Schedule One, and we played Fishing North Atlantic. We played that for like an hour, I think. I didn't play it for long, but I was beat. And then I ended up sleeping, and I guess I had my phone on silent, and a bunch of people didn't think I was okay. But I am okay. I'm here. I'm good. Um, I don't know what I want to play though. I really, 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 really don't. I've got Black Ops 2, but everybody kind of plays their own way, and that's like a more of a respectable game if you just kind of enjoy it in the moment and live stream it. Slash, I'm not a really a big Call of Duty live streamer type person. Ravenfield World Box. We could have some fun with that. Storm Chasers. I just wish that I had like a rig for iRacing because Lord knows I want to do some iRacing because I've got this friend of mine who has apparently loves to backseat drive and I hate backseat drivers, but I let them do it because they could see openings like a spotter in a NASCAR race. I didn't have a spotter, so it was nice to know that I could focus on my car in front, and usually I could focus on my more of my left because I was oval racing a bit more, and they could tell me if I had a car coming on my outside. That way, I never had to adjust my eye position. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, we could play some NASCAR Heat 5. I just need to grab my Xbox controller. Um, you know, I was thinking about Emily's Away. It's kind of a tearjerker, though. At least I think it is. Not only that, but I don't know if this would work for my Xbox either. I mean, I've got like War Thunder, but I've never been pretty. I've got Forza Motorsports, GTA. I really don't know what I want to play today. Hmm. Usually I do. I bet you if I just pick a game, I can get into it. I think we can go back to some KSP. I saw it and and it's kind of stuck in my head. So I think we're gonna rock some KSP, and it's just gonna take a fat minute for it to load because it always does. But once it's in, it runs perfectly. Actually, well, I need my phone on, but not on. Like I said, it takes a while for it to boot up. So I was thinking about it, and I really want to know: is KSP 2 worth it? Obviously, I'm gonna have to get a better rig. Now I roll MSI, um, and I've tried a lot of different computers, and not to smack on any of them. I don't think that Dell. They used to be great if you wanted to roll like Roller Coaster Tycoon or like Sims or some like good old PS2 style, older style games like that, like SimCity. But HP is the name of the game when it comes to Office, and I'm sure you've got a bunch of other. But I'm talking like name brand here, so not not to lack on anybody else. It's just I like to stick with name brand because I'm kind of like same way with manufacturers. If you're gonna buy a car, stick with a vehicle that has relatively been around for a while. So like the Honda Civic, for example, that has a long time. That's a bunch of decades worth of engineering right there. What else does that mean? Well, that means that there's parts everywhere. They're cheap, they're reliable because they've been around for a fat minute. So that's kind of how I think about it. So I guess more of a budget friendly, better safe than sorry. Now, of course, you've got those custom built, super high end, or even like the HP Victus. I thought that was pretty nice. Like, I kind of clinged on to that one for a bit. Hold on, I gotta fix because I bet you my audio is coming through my mic and not my headset. Oh, it is coming through my headset. I think it's just quiet. Yes, I also have a purple mouse cursor. Why did I have it? So I can see it. Because whoever said, "Hey, this should be white," yeah, maybe with like a completely black background, you know, or blue back in the days of what Windows 98, older, not the ME. I know the Millennial Edition. Uh, it was really popular after the Apple II era. Yeah, and I know about the Apple II. See, I'm cultured. I know a little bit about a lot of it. Like, there's so many different like things on YouTube that I'm actually into. So in like retrospect, um, like I know a little bit. Well, I say I know a good chunk about motorsport racing in particular departments. So F1, not my forte. Not knocking on the guys, just not my style. I've always been a bit more domesticated when it comes to racing. So you've got NHRA, IndyCar. I will watch road course racing all day. I do watch IMSA, but for the what? Oh boy, not the Pilot Challenge, not the IMSA Challenge for the WEC. So I think I watch WEC, but I know that IMSA covers it. So things like the Rolex 24 at Daytona or the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Um, or Spa 24, the Nurburgring. What? Oh, it was what was it? The Nordschleifer? Yeah, stuff like that. I know weirdly, but I don't dabble in F1. I would safely say I know a bit more about boat racing than I do F1 or plane racing for that matter. Uh, let's see. Like, I don't know, maybe it's stuff that it's personal to me that I will invest more of my time in. And maybe those are the things that I was just exposed around. So I got really into IndyCar after what I was 9 years old when I watched my first race, Las Vegas 2011, with the Dan Weldon accident. So I do remember watching that. And that's when I first heard about IndyCar. No, it was a movie called Driven. It was such an underrated. But it had Burt Reynolds, Sylvester Stallone, and it had a couple others. Like these people would know, but I just remembered those two. And it was about kart racing, and that's when I started doing some research into the whole IndyCar versus kart, and then a whole about the whole Disney World or Disneyland racetrack that they had, which was a huge mystery. And then, yeah, so like so on and so forth. And kart was a bit more international, while IndyCar was a bit more domestic, which they are reaching out, same as NASCAR. NASCAR's got a race very close to the Canadian border. If not, they are looking into that stuff. Hey, my game. And then I know that I think they have a race out in Mexico. I'm gonna have to like... We're gonna have to go back and turn off the music. I left the music on for my whole other freaking... Oh my goodness. Nobody told me. Okay. Perfect. Master volume in retrospect. It's she loud. Okay, graphics, terrain detail. Actually, everything seems to work just fine. I'm gonna turn that down a hair. Frame rate limit, put it to 100. Because I have, like, some sort of thing going on with, like, my eyes, like infantile cataract or something like that. But I do know for a fact I don't see the sharpness as much. I really don't care too much about that. So for me, it's like if it's in 60 FPS, I'm happy. I don't really give a crap about sharper image and better looking graphics when it comes to games like that are this old. Like you can only, oh, it's not even a, it's just you can only filter out so much until you start to do more harm than good to the game. Alright, we'll apply, and I'll accept. And my game should be okay with this. Man, you take out the friggin' audio, and it really just kind of does a number on it, doesn't it? Mm. Oh, nope, I hear her. Oh, it's nighttime, that's why. Well, that wasn't subtle. Trying to freaking respond to somebody. What were we building last time? Oh yeah, we were working on the I have to pull it up out of the folder. I don't even know if it's in the folder. Oh yes, but I need a new name for it. Yeah, it was the Beechcraft Starship with the drop tank, which we were trying to figure out how to get the explosive coupler on this end to be on the other end. That way you could like theoretically save the pylon. Yeah, that's a no-go. Okay, I do feel like I need radio comms. See, I'm wondering how he's gonna get back up in there. Not my place, honestly. Communication. So, I have a very weird little... I think that's okay. Maybe it should be further back. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe for some weird reason there might be less air flow right here. Now, hear me out. You have two intakes that are pulling air away from the streamline, right? Now, you do have the exhaust, so whatever air that is getting through, that's pushing against it, and then, of course, you have the propellers that are drawing the air, but it's, well, it's pushing, so, like, from here out, hold on, let me look at the aerodynamic overlay. Wow, really? Okay, what about my center mass overlay? Well, it's still in front of the main gear, and then center thrust. Right there is where it starts, essentially. So if I move the antenna back, I just have a... It's such a strange feeling, forgive me, but it's like, I feel very strongly that the air pressure, or at least first, even by a smidge of a margin, is less back here. Maybe. Oh, maybe. You know, because at the same time, think about it. It's that air, just like on a wing, is going to want to cling. So you'll have a high pressure and a low pressure. And aerodynamics, the air is going to want to take shape around the aircraft. So it's probably just going to end up sticking to the fuselage. So unless I had something here to kind of shoot the air over the instrumentation, or to shield said instrumentation, nothing is going to really have any. I better not. Now, I can only see this working like that. That is shielded behind that pylon. I'll have better radio contact with ground. I can move it to right there. That is perfectly out of the way. This intake is permanently closed too. It's not, because it's not a real intake. It's just there to make sure it doesn't have an ass. Okay. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to slowly go through here and see what else I could possibly need. And I keep thinking of these narrowband scanners as like radar. It's not. But man, I wish. I mean, I could carry cargo. Could make this a cargo. But I don't have any cargo that I really need to bring. Well, at least not to my knowledge. And that's also something else, because this is supposed to be a bit more of a long-range surveillance type aircraft. So in my eyes, I could make a bush plane, and I could go out there and hit the mountains that are near my airbase. But I don't have fuel range for crap. I'm not gonna... I mean, I could theoretically make aircraft that can... or drive tankers across the way that run on solar that are just huge fuel tank. I'm listening. In retrospect, make airports. They're just gonna have to be grass strips, but make airports. I do have one. It's at the North Pole. So we're gonna have to... We're gonna have to figure out something, but I do want this thing to be out there on the north edge, because I do feel that this thing can do something very valuable. I do want it to have some scientific equipment, and some equipment that will not be fucked with, and I really do think that it's just gonna have to be right here on the rear end. Now, I'm hoping that this radio antenna I can use to continuously contact ground. I think I'm going to have to put another one on top to maybe if I'm going to try to communicate with satellite arrays as well to bring me constant information variable feedback, especially if I'm using SAS. Small, that includes soil, atmospheric, oceanic sampling tool. Orbital. This is huge. This is large, so I do feel like we will have to come up with a different kind of craft for exactly what it is that I'm wanting to do. What is this? Negative graviton. So I should know these things, but it's been a fat minute since I've played the thing. A device for capturing and measuring the elusive negative gravity particles. Or... gravioli, pasta, particles used for determining the precise strength of gravitational fields. Atmospheric air pressure. I don't have anything on the poles that tell me what exactly is the air pressure if it's thinner up there than it is down at base. So that's it. That's all the instrumentation I'm going to use. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this thing is small too. No, but I really want to make it dedicated. Well, I can probably put all this instrumentation on each one of the fuel trucks and get different readings, I'm sure. I say with no innocence. Okay. I think I'm going to have to put another comlink. Wait, maybe I can... Yeah. This will be a lot more streamlined. Now... No, it's gonna have to go up top so I can get maximum signal array. Okay. We'll see what happens. I'm texting back my friend. I'm like, somebody give me the internet. Alright, brakes are on. We're gonna go RCS, SAS, and I need to pull out my map. In retrospect, this is gonna be hard. So here is my... I find it funny that I named it the Southern Explorer, and I tried to head south, and for some weird reason, when I was programming my orbital maneuvers, because I had to put it into space first and then land it, it missed completely. And on my re-entry, I noticed I was skipping off the atmosphere a lot more than I wanted to, and it was to the point I was like, I'm going to end up hitting the North Pole. I'm not changing the name. So I have something that is very close to the North Pole, but I need to bring an aircraft up here that can operate out of this base. That way they can start doing experiments about the waterline and have an aircraft that can cover at least this area. I don't know what the fuel ranges of this aircraft is. So we are doing test flights because this is like a really perfect observer type of plane. And it was, you know, private planes are perfect for light observation unless you're NASA and you just buy 747s and put telescopes in them. Which I don't even know if they still roll that thing anymore. I really don't. I do know that it costs them a lot of money to get it going. See, I have a plane that's sitting out here, though. Maybe I should see if I can fly over to that. I think I should do this as a daytime flight and then do nighttime ops at a different date. But I really don't think that this is going to be a safe option for me to do. So let's go ahead and crank over engine number 1, wait for good RPM, and I am looking at alternator output. It's not showing me anything. Showing me good fuel flow, so I guess that's all that matters. Alright. And I think I do have my cross feeds. Yep, so perfect. Oh, wait, I should have had the drop tank as primary instead of these tanks to bleed out. What tank is rolling fuel first? That's what I don't think she's rolling any fuel, honestly. Like, if so, very little fuel is being burnt. And I'm okay with that at idle, because if I take off my brakes, it does move under idle thrust, which means that the engines still give me some sort of thrust. It'll give me a very small margin of percentage of help if there is ever an engine out, and I can still get the engines to stay at idle, which is good. I like that. I like that the aircraft rolls on its own. Alright, so here's the floorboard, status in the green, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. Old little flight training thing I remember. I did say I wanted to wait until daytime. Shall we abort takeoff? Yeah, we're gonna abort takeoff. Brakes are on. You're aborting takeoff. Warping to sunrise. I should have probably turned off my engines, but they haven't used crap for gas the whole time. So, and brakes off. Alright, still got good nav lights. I do want to... Nope. Yeah, I need to keep my lights on at all times. You know, I do feel that these engines are strong, but they're not. And I'm wondering if I should invest in... Alright, tapping the brakes, stop the wheel spin. Gear coming up. I can turn off those cockpit lights, but I have the rest of my lights rolling. Oh, wait a minute, because everybody else sees those, like... those blinking white lights. I really, like... You have your alternating lights. I should probably add proper lights. I think I have the bare minimum for lights, like required by the FAA for light civilian aircraft at least, because we had landing lights, which I do have. I had alternating lights if I was fancy enough to fly in the G1000s. Let's see, we had taxi lights. Nope, we had strobes. I should have put strobes on here because the strobes, we had nav lights, and I believe right behind the nav lights were the strobe lights. And I believe the nav lights were on the leading edge, and then the strobe lights were in the middle. Or no, it was the other way around. It was the strobe lights were on the leading edge, and the nav lights were in the middle. So I'd have to scoot up the nav lights, put a flashing white strobe, and then it would make sense. Oh my goodness. So we're going to keep this thing on a northerly heading. Looks like I do have a positive indication on the VSI. Okay, so we'll keep this going. Give me uno second. Sorry, I had to answer a phone call. It's all good. It was about little one. Alright, so we're only up to here, but I want to go set as target, and then I'm not going to obviously aim down there, but I need to yaw to the left a hair, and I don't want to. So I think I'm just gonna kind of flick between ailerons and rudder inputs until I can kind of get my nose around. Okay, so perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, nope, that one's still rolling. That doesn't have any fuel. That didn't have. Oh, cool. So the drop tanks are being used first. So when this goes out, I can just hit decouple. She will fall. So yeah, I was really hoping that I could, but I don't think I'm going to. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Data can transmit science direct connection to spaceport, full crew control and signal strength. See, I wish I could switch this from direct connection to Space Center, and if I could put it to connect to satellite array, but the Space Center is like there, so yeah, I still retrospect have good comm stat. Now, could I deployment would destroy parts? See, but I do remember that there used to be aerodynamic overlays that you could use, and it was in the cheat mode tab, but I'm trying not to use the cheat mode tab. Now, I know that these could theoretically deploy and I would lose engine control, and I have a big glider. And then these I've noticed kind of help the underneath. So like weirdly enough, the rudders could like help the outer end, and then you're still kind of squawk in the middle. And so I put on those two as a maybe that'll help, and it seems to work pretty well. She doesn't seem to really. She seems to bob more up and down than she does to the left and to the right. I mean, if I like look close at the artificial horizon, I don't tell that I'm moving all that much off course. Speed looks good. Let's see, I have SAS control, and you need to settle down there. Wait, who's my driver? Franman Kerman. Actually, I use this pilot more than I care to admit, because I'm pretty sure I've killed off Bill and his entire family of the Kermans in the game. Don't come at me. They were good test pilots, I'll say that. See, it's just I know that these engines weren't designed to be as pushers, but at the same time, they're doing okay. I don't have anything else that's got better thrust, unless I was to do a push-pull configuration, and frankly, when is the last time, don't say the Cessna, and don't say that German aircraft from War Thunder, what was that, like the DO-11 or something like that? But when is the last time that anybody has saw a genuine pusher-puller configuration used with modern tech? That wasn't a jet. Because I'm pretty sure jet engines, if they gave off like no thrust, the intake force alone would be enough to probably get like a Cessna pulled into the air. Like if you took out the thrust equation, I'm fairly confident in it. So don't say jet engines. Hold on, checking people's case. I'm making sure that my peeps are okay. It's such a weird, tight knit community. And this goes also back to like the whole like everybody's kind of had their own trauma. I don't believe that anybody's trauma is worse than another person's. I believe that everybody's trauma is unique to them, and that experience of every single individual's trauma, yeah, it all sucks. You put those together, and you could turn that from, oh my goodness, that's a household full of trauma people, to no, that's a household full of people that have a lot of experience, like a lot. So you could like use the skills and knowledge of what you learned from your past and help somebody else out with it, or apply those to your own future if you need to. Bam. So that's just how I see it, honestly. But yeah, it's such a tight knit community that we have. So we always check in on each other. We always make sure that we're okay, and it's great. And I love it. And I do feel like a lot of people in the world would be happier if somebody checked in on them for like a few times a day. Just, hey, how you doing? That's it. We are social creatures. We cannot function alone. Well, we could, but to a certain extent. The human beings are social creatures. We have to talk to others. That's just who we are. That's how we are. That's how we function. We function as a culture, as a society. We have to come together, no matter what. I'm not getting into anything further than that because I do want to say that opinion, my opinion of the matter is if it doesn't affect me and it doesn't affect what I need to get done as a human being, then I put my family first. I put myself first. I'm gonna put my son first. So if it doesn't affect me, then I'm not gonna get into it. The only thing that affects me is like NASCAR, but that's just because that's a long running family thing right there. Oh my goodness, I could have fast forwarded this whole. No, because I'm on. Signal strength is at 100% still. I'm still in contact with mission control. Barely. Because I'm flying into the mountain range. I do have Comstat. I have a connection with Deep Space Orbiter. With Deep Space Comstat 1. Okay. And then I have Deep Space Comstat 2 over there next to the Mars. Every single time I get one of those things on my phone, I keep thinking it's somebody that has texted me, and it ends up being one of those Snapchat stories. I'm just like, I do not remember clicking notify me. I don't. So I find this funny because apparently I do have connections to Deep Space Comstat 1. I don't know what the transmission, like how long it would take, because there is that also too, like does determine like how long does it take to transmit data from this location through this far using radio waves, or radio, so I have contact with Deep Space Satcom 1 or Comstat 1, so I could theoretically send information out to here, send information out to Comstat 2, and throw it over there to Mars from this aircraft. It would take probably a minute, but theoretically, if I needed to, I could transmit data from this aircraft to Mars, where I do have operations going on Mars, like a whole base and everything. Now it's small and it's kind of built as a single unit. But tis does works. And that's also how I got a lot of my funding too. I remember when I first started, it was like one of those like, okay, here's your pod, here's your booster, launch something. All the way up until, okay, I have enough parts here, let me go do something that's like insanely stupid. So I ended up putting in basically an International Space Station, but I put it in positions so I never put it around Earth. I put them around deep orbit around Mars. I put them in orbit around the moons. I believe I have one on the moon. And when I did that, and I just had the science start cranking out, that gave me so much funding and so many science points I could actually just sit here and kind of mess around with a bit more with aircraft travel, and not really worry about the space portion. Not due to the fact that I don't enjoy the space portion. I do in my own way. It's just I care more about airplanes. Like, space is the final frontier. Yes. And that's the last kind of travel that we're trying to really get a handle on. Yes. But I like planes. So don't judge. You know, I keep thinking I see specs. No, it just turns out my monitor's dirty. Dude, this is gonna be such a far flight. Oh my goodness, I can keep fast forwarding time. I'm waiting actually until I like. I'm not going in the middle of the planet first of all. But apparently it wants me to. Because that's my descending node on my ascending node. At 70 or at 67.5 degrees, you're joking. Not with this thing. I ain't crashing this through the ground. I like this plane. I'm just worried that the landing's going to be kind of crappy. Probably. Because I don't know why this thing keeps climbing like she wants to. Oh yeah, I need to check on this fuel consumption right here. Okay, 5.1, 5. Alright, so they're all the same weight. So once that middle tank goes out, she'll be emptied out. Okay, so. Ah! I really want to get a new boom mic to put this mic on. Because I could theoretically like hang it right here. That way it's not in the way. So we're gonna warp. So we can start just. This drop tank actually does. Yeah. Because I'm still burning off drop tank fuel. So. We're gonna keep going. But for shits and giggles, once this thing gets about like at 25, I want to see how far I got on like half a tank of that fuel. Well, because in reality, I would like to see it get down to 33% fuel, because then that would give me theoretically, if I was to transfer all of this into cabin space, cargo space, how far it would get me with just these two tanks if I didn't use the drop tank. So I'm waiting until she gets down to about 25, and then I'm gonna stop fast forwarding. Alright, so we'll keep her going. Alright, that's just enough for me to look out. That's a decent range. That would cover a flight out to here, but I don't think it would recover. No, it would recover. Maybe. If I was smart about it, yes, it would recover return flight, because I'm rolling at 100% throttle here now that I notice it. So we'll drop her to like 66% throttle. This should show me thrust 13.6 kilonewtons when she rolls usually at like 15 or something like that. Okay, flow. Alternator output is still at 0.21. Okay, cool, because yeah, only what she needs. So if I was to drop like this, it would burn a hair less. Each of these tanks hold 50. If I kept this NCS adapter, I would have a pretty decent fuel range if I was to take off the drop tanks at a passenger module. Not only that, she would be lighter, because this whole tank is full of fuel and oxidizer, which I could theoretically just get rid of the oxidizer and this aircraft would be so much lighter. Well, I didn't think about this. If I get rid of the oxidizer in these two tanks, this aircraft would be a lot lighter. My range would be a lot more improved too. We live and we learn, folks. But yeah, decent-ish range. Not too bad. So just based off those 2 tanks. That would theoretically get me halfway there, but with the drop tank. So, bam, run out, and then I have a drop tank. That would get me the rest of the way, but because I have the other 2 tanks, I should get there, no problem. Now, hold on. Sun, shadow. There it is. I was just like, where's my shadow? I do know for a fact that I could look at other companies, like other competitors' bases. I've done it before. In retrospect, I would love to bomb them. And I know for a fact there is a war pack. I can't get it to work. I want it so bad. Like, I really do. How long have I been airborne? Technically a 3-hour flight. 3-hour flight? That's not... I just wish it would also tell me how many nautical miles that this aircraft has traveled. Dude, who opened up a Sharpie next to me? I smell it. Yeah, but if I wanted to, I could make a bush plane that theoretically could fly, land over here, or even a helicopter. I can't make a helicopter for the life of me. I've tried. I've even tried to make a hover platform. Didn't work so well. But I also don't think it really was supposed to. So I actually do kind of want to change the hover platform. I just don't know what to. But if I can make a hover platform, I can slowly build and build and make them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I could use those to basically pick up these huge base-like structure platforms, fly them somewhere, drive them, connect them together, and have huge bases. I don't know if it'd work. It would, maybe. Alright, we're gonna time warp. Vertical speed is going down a hair, but I'm gonna keep an eye on my altitude. I've still got a lot of fuel left in those tanks, so we are not gonna drop that tank. We are also approaching what seems to be some sort of ice shelf. Definitely some sort of northern-ish mountain territory for sure. Flat planes, just in case. Let's slow down, make sure I do not need to make an emergency landing whatsoever. I need to gain altitude for sure. What is something... Am I still gaining altitude at ×3? I am. So we're going to slowly gain altitude at this distance from that range. I do also believe that I should be... Okay, so the range that I see is this range right here. Once I'm past the range... Looks like this aircraft landed near the beachfront. And I could recover it if I wanted to. Okay, so, just for shits and giggles too. This right here, that's a satellite, or not a satellite array. That's a comm array. So it's basically one big dish sitting right there. But these, right here, are other, I believe, base locations. Where they touch. So, like, you can see how 2 are there. I do believe I have to look for a place where there's... Got 3 right here. Yeah, you've got 3 right here. So, that looks like a perfect place to have that. And then I also need another I need an aircraft that can go to the west and find something for me. There's theoretically a base out there. Crater Base. I want to go. I want to go see if I can get it. But I'm going to build something a bit faster. But I don't know about fuel efficient. But faster. But I do want to give it a shot. Alright, we're almost to that mountain base. Times 4 speed, we are still... And also my aircraft is wanting to pitch up more because I am losing this weight right here, and then when this goes, that aircraft will balance itself back out. I really do hope so. But because my fuel tanks are a bit more centralized, instead of having one up here to kind of help balance out the nose. Which in retrospect, I probably should have put some instrumentation on the nose to add some sort of trim out weight, but welcome to the world of aircraft design, is you're constantly tweaking and adjusting, and you know, in retrospect, as a pilot, we don't want an aircraft that we have to constantly trim and fight in battle. That's kind of what a test pilot or a fighter pilot has to do. You know, you constantly always having to adjust the aircraft. And I would like to be something that you can trim it up and just leave it be for a few, and it would actually be okay. This plane is pushing that limitation. I feel that she's constantly recentering herself with the stability assist with autopilot. But if I was to turn off stability assist or turn off RCS or SAS. Yeah, she's nose heavy. Alright, so I do need to come to the left a smibbage. Maybe not. Maybe by, what was it? 360, what, 20 degrees? Because I do want to go see what that other downed aircraft is. I believe it was this aircraft's Mark 1. And I think I ran out of fuel. And I don't think I ever recovered the aircraft. I think I recovered the pilot, but I don't think I recovered the plane. I'm also not pushing my engines because I'm trying to extend this fuel range as great as possible. But I will say, if I can get to this plane before halfway on fuel, I know for a fact I can make it to the base. Like, I just know I can. Alright, so I don't know how... She's got some decent wing, but I don't want to push her altitude performance. You know, I bet you she would handle a bit better up there. Yeah, let's go ahead and get her to climb. And I will even give her max thrust to get her to climb. See, I wish I could land up here, though. Try to collect some samples. I also want to test out some drilling apparatuses and whatnot. Maybe find a way to see if there's an actual way to utilize the drilling machine and make rovers. That way I can actually make fuel, because I do believe that that's what the concept of those drilling machines were for. Okay. Back off with throttle now. I feel confident enough that we are past this mountain range. And I do remember, I do think I was starting to run out of fuel right along these right here. I do believe I kind of, yeah, I think I came through this little gap right here. I ran out of fuel, and I emergency landed her. Maybe I ran out of fuel over here, or I landed her right before she ran out of fuel, and because I didn't want to risk anything. She's got to be around here somewhere. I should be able to see her, right? Oh, yeah, she's past this. She should be, like, up here. But we're gonna keep cruising. The plane's doing okay. At least I feel like she's doing alright. Yeah, for some weird reason, I thought I landed here. And it's also weird too, is because there's other satellites and whatnot that are airborne or that are in space by other companies that have not progressed as fast enough as my company has. That's just because I was kind of more focused on getting satellites into space before actually making missions. Because my thought was, why would I throw a mission if I can't even talk to the guy? But I'm surprised that they didn't come out and try to take this aircraft, because I do know that I had some things on this plane that probably could have helped them. I mean, I'm not a genius, but just saying. Okay, so like right here somewhere. So let's fast forward. We're still descending, so hopefully I can see the thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a place for my passenger, if there is a crew member, because I'm fairly confident that I picked up the crew member. But if I didn't, or if I didn't pick up the other guy, because I don't know if it was a 2-person or a 1-person flight. I think it was a 1-person flight. I don't have room for him, though. Well, here's the problem. I should see it. I'm kind of on top of the darn thing. Put back to 33% throttle. Start a descent. But I can't be out here for too long burning fuel. But, negative contact on. I don't see it. I don't think this aircraft is there anymore. I think the tracker is left out here, but I do not think that that plane is here anymore. So this is off to my left side. I'll circle around, but I'm not holding my breath. I do not believe that the plane is here anymore. I think somebody might have came and took it. I really do. So I'm going to cut this engine. I'm going to bank this as hard as I can. Which I'm going to be kind of upset about, because that was my Mark 1. And, like, bummer. Like, I should be on top of the freaking thing, but I don't see it. So I'm wondering if I'm too high and it hasn't rendered in yet. That's what I hope. I also don't know how small it is. I don't remember how small it is. I do feel like this, because this is like Mark 3 or 4, and I do feel that this one is bigger. Oh, it's off to my left. It's like way off to my left. Alright, hold your horses here. Maybe I'm blind. I'm like aiming right for it. I do not. Oh, wait a minute. My goodness, it's small. There it is. Okay, I haven't used like crap for gas. I'm gonna try to attempt a landing on it. Or nearer. Alright, gear coming down. Brakes on. Alright, I'm gonna keep this nose down so I can like just get airspeed. And then so I can pull up at the last minute. And embrace a very extremely hard landing. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, it was a drop tank. Hey, I'm okay with that, honestly, because I was out of gas. Okay, so she's right here. Oh, and she was a passenger version? Was she a single engine? Oh my goodness, I think this was a single engine pusher. Ooh. She was definitely a twin cabin. Let's shut down these engines. And I'll turn off my lights too. That way I'm not, like, burning. I do not remember making that. But if she came all the way out here... Well, that's the question. How the heck did she get out here? Because I don't remember... Like... I don't know about fuel. Unless that had gas in it. And the wings. I think I might have put wings in there. I probably put fuel in the wings. But yeah, you can tell I'm very much within the pusher prop community. And she was a belly landing too. Or unless that's how I left her so the crew can get out. Well, shucks. Well, I'm gonna stop for a minute. I'm gonna grab some food and a drink, and then I think I'm not gonna kill the stream. I'm just dipping for a moment. Why is it that I grabbed my food and the chicken tenders taste like Funyuns? Now, you got my interest, but why? Okay. Alright, I need to adjust something on here. Hold. Wait a minute. Yep. Maybe. The delay in the stream is really bad. Oh, cool. It did work. Oh my goodness, my mic was muted again. I'm trying to figure out how to turn on and off my camera. Okay, yeah, that does work. Because my camera doesn't have like an on or off switch itself. Not only that, but I do think if I did that, it would freak it out. But these chicken wings taste like Funyuns. Like, I'm okay with it, but dude. Alright, activate engine, brakes are off. Alright, what is my new focus? Set as target. Set as Southern Explorer. Oh my goodness. I cannot hit that plane. Come on, engines. Man, if I had a Titan engine... I don't know how that got out here, though. But I do think that that was Mark 1 of a pusher prop ordeal that I had going. Come on, come on, come on. You're coming up. Nope. Surface speed. That's what I want. And I guess I will decouple. Boom. Man, that's a shame that that thing came all the way out here. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know how it got out here. Maybe I was doing some sort of weird fuel thing. Alright, so we are slowly climbing 500 feet per tick, and I think I kind of want to yank on her control surface a bit. And just be over, I want to assume that that's over 1,000 feet per minute climb rate. So, back on down, yeah, see, and then it's exposed to everything. I didn't think about that, did I? No. There's an aerodynamic overlay, though. Maybe I could have put some of them right behind the beacon light. Maybe put some underneath these underwings. I mean, in retrospect, I could make this thing military. What, I had a drop tank? I could easily put 2 bombs on this thing. Probably upgrade the engines a bit. She'd be a light attack. I could make her a bomber. I've never actually made a bomber plane before. I think it'd be dope. I do want that war mod though, like so bad. I'm gonna sit here and eat like chicken tenders too. And steak fries. Which I haven't come to the agreement about the fries and ranch situation here on the West Coast. East Coast guy, we were like fry sauce crazy. Especially Chick-fil-A. The ranch is good. And I think I can confidently say this without anybody watching that knows me very well. I do like mayonnaise. You know. Sour cream, I'm still trying to get used to. What? Like scrolling through my phone. Oh yeah, I can still fast forward time. I don't know why I keep wasting my time with this, but I'm on target. I should have thought about something though. Can this extend all the way, or do I have to use this one to transmit? I think I'm going to end up having to use the top one. Because the bottom one is for me to talk to ground, or I will say as an excuse that that's part of my sensors for the aircraft, so I can detect, you know, radar surface. Like instead of using barometric pressure, I can use like real radar scanning altimeter. Like that is my altitude above the ground right now, which is good and bad because I would not mind sea level because I can easily use like sea level to trim out my aircraft performance. But this just tells me, hey, this is actually how. Like, you think you have an extra like 200-300 feet? You don't. Give me a second here. sorry about that. That was some important advice time. We're basically, I don't know. Anyways, not even close to my business to share. All right. I have a thermometer on my desk. I also have no idea how far we are away from this ice shelf. Pretty close, actually. It looks like we've entered some planes. We have completely flown away from that. I still don't feel like this thing's at its... This is turbo, isn't it, technically? This isn't piston. This is turbo. So, which means it's a jet engine. Which means it should be able to fly higher for better performance. Dude, my freaking fingers are so jacked up. It's ridiculous. See, so the other thing is that if I was to go like live on Discord, I would need somebody to tell me how to be able to pick up that channel audio as well. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to get this crap off of my fingers because it's cracking my fingers and it hurts. Also, at the same time, I'm trying to get really good altitude performance, fuel burning type ordeal. Still didn't work. Come on. Ah. I am slowing down, but I bet if once I nose over, so I'm trying to get. Oh, that does feel better. I'm trying to get up to here. Trying to see if I can get her to cruise up there. If I can, cool. I don't think so. I think I can get close, but I really don't think that the engines are going to be very effective. Effective airspeed. Status nominal. Wait, am I even fast forwarding? No, I'm not. Oh my goodness, my nose! This is terrible! Okay, we're getting closer. I want to keep an eye on that engine status though. I think it might be at 8,000 meters. I'm close. I'm so close. Perfect. Let's level off that nose a smibbage. Fuel's going up. Yeah, she does not like being up here. I have seen. I do believe that this is pushing it for this aircraft because she does not want to keep a nose up attitude about it. No, that nose is dropping. Yep, alright. So she didn't like cruising up at this altitude. That's not a big deal, although I wish I could switch this over to feet. It's not a big deal. Now we know. You're probably a bit up to this range right around here, like between these two hash marks. Okay. ComNet network. Yeah, so I am connected to the network too. I have tempted to go get myself some freaking ranch though. I wish it would show me distance to target though. Nope. Approach info for the Southern Explorer. So basically we just gotta keep this number coming down. Okay. Oh my goodness. I got hold on. Oh, yep, there it goes. Okay. Maybe. A bit worried about this landing though, but it should be on pretty solid surface. The taxiing is just gonna be a bitch. Okay. So, drop tank over to these tanks. That's a pretty good wide berth. I could easily fly over to here. I do need to get a station on the South Pole and something on the island. And I need to get a good name for that island. I gotta stop eating these and go get ranch. Oh, hey Bubba. I just got the message, I'm sorry. Looks like my little boy's he's watching. I don't know if they can hear me all that well. I'm literally not doing anything that entertaining. I'm on as background noise. We shall keep it as such. No, but it's weird. I've got like 3 different control panels here, so I can easily use main monitor, gaming. I have y'all, my mic down here, keyboard and stuff. Okay, cool. They can. I've got my laptop on this side for making sure that the stream is running, although there's a really bad delay. I believe it is close to a 30-second delay. Actually, that's not terrible. And then I use my iPhone to keep in contact with people, in case anybody texts me or whatnot. And then, of course, the chat to watch y'all. And then I have my OBS also on this screen, too, to make sure that everything worky okay. I do need to turn left probably another 20 degrees, though. A little bit of that rudder and that aileron input. and make her go this way. Come on, come on. Alright, and then roll out and still be off by 5 degrees. I don't need that bad of a descent node. Just be nice. Why you gotta fight me? Alright, cut throttle. If I'm gonna descend, I'm not gonna burn fuel descending like this. And I'm hoping that once I get down here to better airspeed, she'll just want to start rounding her nose out. Yes, Bubba, I have your toy airplane that you kind of made. Well, it's a little different because your toy wouldn't work with me, sadly. But yes, Bubba, I've got plane. All right, there we go. And then I can still not burn any fuel, keep up a really decent airspeed. And I'm hoping that once I hit about just dip below about 140 meters per tick, I can crack her at about 66% throttle, and we can go ahead and advance forward and burning as minimal amount of fuel as possible, extending her range. Unfortunately, this did not like being up there at the high altitude, and that's something that I'm going to have to continuously keep fighting. And that's going to upset me. And I do believe because I'm running out of fuel on the back end of my aircraft, my nose is starting to get smashingly heavy. I'm just glad that you're in here now, because I was admitted to some things like life-altering things. Nothing inappropriate that I wouldn't say on stream. And stop speeding. I know you are. Don't lie. I know you are. I know. Forgot to use your blinker. Okay, we are now dipping below that. Let's go ahead and crack her to 66% throttle. That should bring her back up to about 140 or 145 meters. Maybe a little faster. Yeah, there we go. Well, I am lower to the ground, so the air is a bit thicker. Better for props. 3 people watching. Oh my goodness. I have 2 people that I'm depending on to entertain. This is not a good idea. Hello, welcome to the stream. I have my kiddo. Oh, okay, bye-bye. I was kidding. How much farther? 1.5. We're close. We're closing in. And we're not really burning through the fuel all that, like, terribly. Like, it's not concerning me. So I do think that this is actually, she's slow, but it's decent fuel and airspeed performance. But I do think that once I land over here, I'm going to switch up the game. I wonder what I should play. Like, I really do. Because I'm like, I want a game, but I don't know what I want to play. So, I don't know. Maybe somebody's got some options. Oh my goodness, there's another person. Welcome to the stream. Me and my 2 peeps. It's okay. I'm happy with anybody that pops in, honestly. Okay, we're gonna keep going at this rate. I don't like my descent rate though. So, and this aircraft doesn't really want to trim out, like, at all. Just doesn't. Hold on. I have to watch chat talk to y'all, which I keep wanting to move my camera over here, and I don't know if that looks any better. I don't know if I should face y'all directly head on. I don't know if also that looks any better either. And then gameplay. See, but it flickers. Seems to do it at night too. Okay. I don't know if it flickers. I don't know if it looks better. Don't be shy. Who's the other person? I need to know. Fran Man wants to know. I try to give as many shout outs to anybody. It's just like if you want one, you gotta be like in the chat. That's all I say. Now if it is somebody that I do know that's watching but they can't text, cool. Like got you, 100%. Um that's just my peace of mind. I like to interact with my audience a lot. I'm telling you, this light is flickering and it's bothering me. And I don't know if it looks okay. Oh, my light switches out. It's also like the ambient light around me too is starting to fizzle. Okay, so looks like target is going to be probably, I'd say, about 3 degrees off to my left side. Yeah, I don't think this light's helping one bit. So I'm going to turn it off. I want to get a ring light because I have a tripod and I can put it like right there. Or I can be redneck about this. Hear me out. I have a shop light. Yeah, I can use my shop light. Where on earth would I hang it? Now I have to do this. This is such a stupid idea. Alright, cool. Wait, map. Somebody check the map. I'm the map. I do not like my aboapsis. Okay, so they are at 81 degrees. 81 degrees. What is it? 0 minutes, 1 second north, 66, 57 minutes, 52 degrees, 52 seconds west. I can't remember how to read out latitude and longitude. I do not remember. Okay. Bam. And I'm pretty sure that's Minmus out there, and then I have the moon somewhere. Perfect, there's the ice shelf. We need to start our well, I want to level her off. I have not burned through. Okay, well then who's burning the gas? You are. So this is -2, that's -10, burn here, the acid's going to be heavy. So then burn here. So this needs to be -9, that's -10, 8, right? Right? Theoretically, that should work. And it's probably not going to. That's not burning any gas. 71, right? 59. 10, 8. Oh, wait, your priority then. So it should be 8, 10, 9. I hope that makes sense. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to be sad. Not like I have a say in it, but still, I will be sad. It does seem like that's the plan. Okay. Because I want to, because if you do burn fuel properly, it will trim your plane up pretty good. But yeah. Okay. If you're in here, I tried doing that, and then y'all came and bombarded me this morning. Well, this afternoon. So no. I don't. No. All right. Airspeed's still at 150.3. We are like trimmed up pretty decent right now. Perfect. Somebody turned my lights off though. I just now noticed that. Who turned off my lights? I'm upset now. Hold on, I don't need cabin lights. I just need nav lights. Blink period, blink is off. That's right, I don't want it to blink. There's the ice shelf. You can actually see how deep underwater that shelf like goes. So I know it's thick enough for the ops that I'm trying to do on it. See, and then I also want like boat mods. Like I think it'd be really cool to have like huge ships, not like icebreakers or cutters, but like huge survey ships and whatnot, and then see what I can do about. I don't know, because I can go two different ways. I can be completely a scientific whole outfit and just have a bunch of like. He's got a bunch of different planes for a bunch of different things. Aircraft, ships, bases, vehicles, things like that. Or I could go military. Be like, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. I'm out of coffee. Well, it's another reason to get up and go get that ranch. I'm also like looking for a third reason. I'm about to find it here really soon. Alright, so it looks like the plane's going to start wanting to pitch up. Because I'm starting to burn the fuel in this end right here. So, what are you? You are at -8. I'm going to put you to -8 too. That way this tank and this tank get pulled at the same time. Which is good. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that throttle down to 0. I'm going to go ahead and start dropping that nose a smidge. I'm too high of a descent rate. I wonder if this is 50 or this is 100. And then that's 1,000 feet, and then that's 10,000 feet per minute. Or if this is 500, this has got to be 1,000. Maybe this might be 100 feet per minute. No, it's got to be 1,000 feet per minute. Yeah. It makes no sense the other way around. Alright, I am very far from it still, but I need to descend so I can see it now. I don't know how down I need to go, so I'm going to try to drop it to about 1,500 meters. Perfect. Well done. I think I need to go to cockpit view to keep an eye on my VSI. Radar altitude is still looking good. We are actually coming within to the radar altitude. Speed. I'm a little worried about my speed. VSI is starting to adjust, so we'll keep it at this descent node. To keep my airspeed happy, I'll bring her up to no, that's too much. I don't want her to overspeed, and you can use altitude for airspeed, yes, but you can use altitude as an advantage to completely cut your engines, save fart loads amount of gas. And that's what I'm hoping I can do right here, is save a lot of fuel. Because, look, this is my range on the aircraft itself. So when I had the drop tank and I dropped it, it'll remove it as, like, you don't need to worry about that empty weight anymore because it's not on your plane. It's not going to affect you anymore. This is how much fuel I have left over on the aircraft. And I am getting rather close to my destination. At a good, I completely bypassed my whole entire descent rate thing. You know what? Whatever. Because I was supposed to do it at 1500 meters, but I'm going to keep on coming in at this good approach. So we're at intersection 1, about 800 meters out. For the intersection point? Maybe. Alright, so let's go ahead and give her 66% throttle. Bring the nose up. And try to kill off that descent rate. We're going to keep her at 153 because I guarantee if I full throttle it, the airspeed's not going to move much, and I'm just going to be wasting extra gas. See, I like how the engines are pointed inward, but I wonder if I was to point them outward, if that would change maybe any of the performance of the aircraft. Alright, so we're still at about 500 meters. We're looking good. Looking good. We're at a good pace. Now I should see it. I shouldn't see it. We're gonna fast forward. I need to cut across some terrain here. I need to cut a good chunk of this flight out. Because I'm still quite far away. I'm a lot farther than I thought I was, honestly. Alright, we need to pull up, gain some altitude. Trying to keep her at around 500, between like 500 and maybe 1500, so like 1,000 foot of play difference, but I don't want to drop below the 500 mark, honestly. Don't feel comfortable. Alright, there we go. We'll try to level off her nose. Maybe that was... Maybe. Dude, my nose will not stop itching, and it bothers me every day. Badly. Alright. I need to check my map. I'm coming up on it. Alright, and there's that wind window again. I need to pull her up. I need to bank to the left. And flicker around. I wish she would naturally bank that way, but it ain't gonna happen. Like with a Cessna, yeah, you can put a little bit of rudder into it, but you bank the aircraft and the plane naturally just goes that way. You don't really have to use your elevator all that much. But with higher agility aircraft, you do have to, because the wing is thinner, so it does not affect your natural turning, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, I am looking for a base. I'm coming up on it. Well, it should be. I hope I can see it. That's my goal. Does anybody else see it? The problem is it's all white. I should have made it more black to see it better. Like the parts that I could have painted. Like that or orange. Like whatever would have stood out. Alright, I'm gonna cut throttle. Oh my goodness, there it is. Just took her a minute to load in, I suppose. Okay, there is that base right there. I'm going to try to land safely and I'll turn it around, I promise. Just want to land her first. Oh my goodness, she's not going to bleed airspeed on me easily. Right, and back pressure, back pressure, back pressure. That way the nose doesn't get a little too squirrely. Brakes still looking good. Turning off the brakes. Spin her around. And then cruise her all the way back. Because I've learned her brakes not that good. So I'm going to give them 65%. But I'm going to turn that down. Right, and then now I'm airborne on accident. That's actually not bad. What if I completely get rid of, not get rid of it, but like 10%, right? Because I've got to keep adding back pressure. And then we just crank that up to 100% on each side. Alright, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't spin out and crash. I don't think it's gonna be that good though. I also want to turn off the landing gear light. Lights off. I'll keep the rest of these on. I do need to add strobes to this airplane though, and I think I want to add them like right here if I can. Like these are perfect little slots, you know. I wish I could make them, you know, flash, 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 you know, like the two flash pause. Yeah, but once y'all see how I got this thing over here, it was really, 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 really shady. Oh, she got good brakes now. Yeah. Let's go ahead and shut down these engines. So she's got plenty of fuel, like a lot of fuel, which is sweet. So with that kind of a fuel range, I could easily, I have plenty of fuel to do um, these ops. Alright, but since I'm already over here, let's go ahead and just collect whatever science that I can do. So let's log the temperatures. Quite literally normal. I'm going to transmit it anyways. Northern ice shelf. Perfect. Cool. Log pressure data. You know, let's go ahead and transmit that too. Let's log this. And then we'll transmit that too. That's going to take a little bit longer for sure. Perfect. So I do need to figure out a way to switch out crew members. Yeah, but this is the thing. You had to like launch it in space, build it in space, bring it back. It's not even level. Like this is like a really crappy, like I had landing legs and it just yeah, it was a nightmare and a half to do. But it's here and it's got its first surveillance aircraft. I'm happy. I'm happy about it. Alright, I think we need to switch it up here. So let's save it. I think we should have some fun with this game. I've never streamed this before, and I think this would be like a perfect streaming opportunity. But I'm gonna stop the stream for a moment. I need a break. I need a smoke, and then I'll be back, and then we'll play a little bit of this, and then tonight I'll go back to schedule one, and we'll just keep working on that. So I'll be back. But thank y'all so much.